It's time for Success in Real Estate with Frankie Griffin, owner and broker in charge of the Palmetto Success Team, certified residential specialist, accredited buyer representative, military relocation professional, real estate appraiser, and author of Success in Real Estate. If you are interested in buying or selling a home, investing in real estate, or having your home appraised, you will enjoy Success in Real Estate. Now, here's Frankie Griffin.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, real estate broker in charge and appraiser here in South Carolina. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I've got so much stuff I'd love to put out and make sure that in your next real estate transaction, you have all the information you need to ensure you're making an informed decision. That's what this show is all about. We want to make sure, in fact, our highest priority during this show is to make sure you, as one of our listeners, have any questions you have answered. We want to make sure we address anything that's on your mind. So if you have any questions or comments about the show, feel free, give us a call. The number here in studio is 799-8255. Again, 799-8255. And if you're thinking about buying a house, because that's what this show, I think we're going to focus on for the most part today anyway, home buyers and how we can best help you get into your dream home. Because it's a very tedious process when you're looking at buying a home. And especially if you are a first-time home buyer, because I can certainly understand that. I remember the first house I ever bought. It's been a while, but I do remember that day. But there can be so much anxiety when you're thinking about or going through this process. There's a lot of nerves. It can just take over, and when anxiety kind of sets in, no matter what you're doing, it can confuse your thinking, your mindset. All of a sudden, it feels like the whole world's crashing in on you, and that's the last thing we need to do when you're buying a home, because this should be a very exciting time. And you should enjoy the process at least as much as possible. And that's what we try to do with our clients here at the Palmetto Success Team. We are a true team. We all work together as a team. We do not work independently of each other. So if you were looking to buy a house, then you've got 4 agents, qualified professionals. They're going to be there to walk you through this process every step of the way. And we find that we work much better as a team because we can make sure that all your needs are met. We all have specific areas that we work. But Stacy Starnes, which is also one of my partners with the Palmetto Success Team, she is just awesome when it comes to negotiating, and you can't beat. I mean, that's pretty much a lost art, unfortunately, today in the real estate industry. You tend to find that, for example, if you're working with a real estate agent, and if you've worked with an agent lately, you probably know what I'm talking about. But it seems like when a buyer gets ready to make an offer on a house, the buyer's agent will either fax or maybe today email the offer to the other agent or to the listing agent. Well, that doesn't happen with the Palmetto Success Team. That I don't believe in that, if at all possible. Now, sometimes there are situations where we have to do what we have to do, but more times than not, I'm going to take your offer. I will go sit down with the listing agent. We're going to sit down, go over the offer, and make sure all your interests are protected. We got to make sure of that. That's my top priority. But it's more important, or just as important, on the other side of the aisle. The seller and the listing agent must understand exactly what your offer is and why you're making that offer. And I think that's what's causing a lot of the problems when you see them come up in real estate. Sellers don't understand an offer. They look at it and say, well, that's a low ball. That's ridiculous. Throw it out. I don't want to deal with that. That's just a ridiculous offer. Well, maybe if you understood the offer and why that offer is made the way it was made, you may find that it just makes a lot more sense. So I like to sit down with the other agent, and my partner Stacy, she is just awesome with this. She is a wonderful negotiator, and I just don't think you're going to go wrong. We would love to help you if that's something that you're thinking about doing either now or in the future. We would love to represent you, sit down and talk to you, explain to you exactly how we do things. We've also have on our team Ashley Jeffcoat, just a sweetheart. She's an outstanding buyer's agent, and she enjoys going around and looking at homes as much, or if not more so, than the buyers do. And she gives great feedback to the buyer. She can get your questions answered very quickly, but she's awesome. Ashley Jeffcoat, she will do anything possible to make sure that you're as informed as you can possibly be. Again, we'd love to give you an opportunity to call in and ask any questions about what we do and how we do it. And I'm going to be talking about it the whole show. Again, the number to call here in studio is 799-TALK. Again, 799-8255. 799-8255. Love to talk to you. If you're near your phone and be willing to give me a call, love to hear from you anyway. But we've just got so much, I think, to offer. And the other thing I would just suggest to you, if you are considering hiring an agent or looking at buying a home, one of the issues I think, and I think it's an issue anyway, if a person's looking at selling their home, they seem or tend to go through much more detailed process in selecting an agent than typical buyers do when they're selecting an agent. It's almost first come, first serve. If you're thinking about buying a house, you just snatch them up. And I think that could be costly, and it could be a mistake to you. You really need to check things out. Find out, is this agent that you're talking to, are they a qualified buyer's representative? And there are a lot of agents, such as we here at the Palmetto Success Team. We are accredited buyer's representation. We've earned that designation through the Realtors Association, or the Real Estate Buyers Agents Council, which I'm also a national instructor for the Real Estate Buyer Agency Council. Go around and teach buyer agency representation. So you need to make sure that your agent, again, is qualified and in the area that you need to make sure that you're going to be best represented. This is just so important. Ask the right questions. And there's just so many ways. If the contract is structured properly, you as the buyer can save thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars on your next home purchase. And anyway, we would love to sit down and talk to you about that. It's a little more detailed than I can probably go into the show on how you do some of these things. But there's just a lot more to buying a house and making an offer than just picking up a blank contract of sale and filling in the blanks. It has to be prepared just right, and it has to meet those individual needs of you as the buyer. Got to have it. But anyway, got to take our first break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin on The Point.
And now, the Mortgage Update with Erica Hill West on Success in Real Estate.
All right, welcome back to Success in Real Estate. Again, I'm Frankie Griffin. It is time for our Mortgage Update with Erica Hill West, and she is our mortgage go-to gal here on Success in Real Estate. And we've got Erica Hill West on the line with us right now. And how are you doing, Miss Erica?
I'm doing well, and yourself, Frankie?
Oh, I am so fine. Now that I'm inside, I thought I was freezing when I walked out this morning.
I know.
It was so cold. Well, how have you been doing?
I've been doing well, busy.
I know you've been busy. You've been very busy because you do a lot of traveling, and you do a lot of stuff in Sumter and other areas, not to mention just here in Columbia. But what's going on in finance today?
Well, most importantly, last Friday, mortgage lending had a couple new regulations come out in connection with the Dodd-Frank Lending Act.
Yeah.
One is probably the most concerning is the qualified mortgage rule. They're requiring lenders to make sure that people actually qualify and can repay for the mortgage.
Imagine that.
So, I know. Go figure. And for most people, knowing the specifics isn't that important. What real estate agents need to know, what borrowers need to know, is to make sure that they are going through loan officers that they're confident with, that they can abide by those rules so that you don't have any problems close to closing.
Yeah.
It is going to change the way that we look at documentation, and maybe some documentation that can be required. I know it's impossible to think that there could be more, but there could be more.
Really?
Yeah. They're going to make sure, they want to make sure that they're able to repay the debt. I'm sure you know as well as most other people, but there may be some that don't know that we qualify somebody based on their gross income. And we all know that that's not what you're bringing into your household.
Yeah, that's the monopoly money.
That's the monopoly money. That's the what's on paper money.
Yeah.
And so they're getting a little bit more concerned with debt to income, how much debt you have versus how much you're making. But then the other kind of quirky thing is that the debt that we're including against you is not necessarily all the debt that you have. So only the debt that's reporting on your credit report. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's not including utilities or gas for your car, groceries, that kind of stuff to live. And so, the mortgage industry is just getting a little bit tighter about making sure people qualify and can repay.
So what? If I'm hearing you correctly, it's just we've got more paperwork when applying for a loan. But does that mean it's necessarily harder to qualify for a loan?
It may be. It depends on what kind of mortgage product you want. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to get a non-traditional mortgage such as interest-only or a negative amortizing loan or a term of 40 years. It's going to be more difficult to get a product of that nature. Mm-hmm. They're looking for more fixed rates, making sure that people, we can get people in homes and keep them in homes. They are going to scrutinize debt to income a little bit more rigorously than they have been. And, for my company, we've already been a little bit conservative when looking at that, so it's business as normal, that's good news.
Okay. Well, so I'm trying to figure out how I want to word the question, but, well, Erica, how fast, well, let me just go this way. How fast, if I've got a buyer and we go to make an offer, of course, we never make an offer, and this is some of the things I want to talk about, too. In fact, let me go ahead and bring it while you're on the line with me.
Sure.
I just feel like it is just critically important, and unfortunately, I'm not seeing it a lot with a lot of real estate agents or in the industry right now, but it's just so important to have a buyer qualified through a lender, such as yourself, before they go out and try to make an offer on a house. And so often you see buyers, with their agents, they'll just make the offer and then just see if the seller accepts it, then we'll go out and apply for a loan. Now, are you seeing much of that?
Yes, I am seeing it, or I'm seeing people that are necessarily, they have qualifying credit, but, the lender that they're going to isn't really asking the tough questions, getting all the information up front, which is what they need to be doing.
Right.
You need to be conducting an interview, taking application, getting as much information as you can in order to make that assessment, because it's not just what's reporting on the credit report, because there are things that don't report on the credit report, like child support,
right,
or alimony.
Well, see, what I'm afraid of is a lot of people apparently just don't get this. But if you and I work very well together, and that's why I just love Erica Hill West, because when I get ready to make an offer with a buyer, I know what kind of financing we're using. I know the terms of the loan, and that helps me so much to properly draft the contract in a way that's going to protect my buyer.
Yeah.
If I don't know that stuff, then it's just you're just throwing darts in the dark.
Pretty much. And there are, I think right now, because I've heard from everybody that it is a little slow. Well, yes, it is a little slow. It's the winter. Mm-hmm. It always is a little slow. And we did have kind of a volatile year with the increase in rates and now these new federal regulations coming into effect. Sure, people get, a little hesitant to make any decision.
Sure.
And I think most of the time agents are afraid of pushing them away. If they require them to speak to a lender it may, push them away or where they, want to go find another realtor to take them out without getting pre-qualified. But the thing is that I keep telling people, if they're not willing to have their credit looked at, they're not a serious buyer.
There you go. And that's what it's going to boil down to. And what are the rates now, or approximately?
Low to mid fours.
Really? So it sounds like they may have they come down some?
They did. Last week there was a labor report that was issued, and it was a lot differently than what we were expecting, we did see a drop in rates, not quite as significant as I was hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be my late Christmas present.
Oh.
But there was a little bit of a dip, which it should have been, according to those reports. So, but they're holding strong. I do think that more importantly, what we need to get out to the consumer is now's the time to buy.
Absolutely.
Now's the time to buy, because rates most likely aren't going to dip much lower than they are right now. And if you don't buy this year, I think you're going to look back and really regret not purchasing.
Well, Erica, I can't thank you enough for calling in and talking to us, but I know you've got a Facebook page with just tons of information. How can we find that?
You can search for the Mortgage Go-To Gal. When you go there, please like my page. There's all sorts of informative material on there to let you know what's going on in the real estate market, what's going on in the mortgage industry. It's very, very helpful. And please, if you have any comments or anything that you want to see on there, please let me know, and I'll do my best to try to get that up there.
Sweetie, I can't thank you enough for calling in, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
You do the same. Thanks, Frankie.
All right, sweetie. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Erica Hill West. She's a mortgage consultant with Mortgage Network. She does such an incredible job. Again, the phone lines are open. If you have any questions, I would love to talk to you. The number in studio is 799-TALK or 799-8255. Please give me a call. Love to talk to you, answer any questions you have. And if I could just sort of caveat a little bit off of some of the things Erica was just talking about and the way we work together, one of the things I think is just critically important when you're buying a house is to make sure your foundation is very strong before you make an offer on that house. Sellers will not take you nearly as seriously if they think it's just sort of a fly-by-night type offer. So some of the things I like to do with my buyer before we make the offer, I will actually have a HUD-1, or at least a preliminary HUD-1 or settlement statement, if you will, prepared, because I want to make sure you as the buyer know if the seller accepts your offer the way we've written it up, here's what you can expect at closing. And I've just seen too many times where buyers make the offer, seller accepts it, and then a day or two before closing, if they're lucky, they get to see the HUD-1 for the first time, which is when they find out how much money they may have to bring or will have to bring to closing. And then they discover, you know what, I don't have that money, we got a problem, can't get the financing, and the deal falls apart. And that just causes so many problems, especially with the way some of these financing contingencies are in the contract. But again, we're getting ready to take our bottom of the hour break, so give us a call, 799-8255. You're listening to Success in Real Estate on The Point.
Now, the Real Estate Horror Story with Andy on Success in Real Estate.
All right, welcome back again to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, and it is now time for the Real Estate Horror Story of the week. And Andy On, which would normally be here or at least on the phone to give us and talk to us about the horror story. Again, he is an attorney, and apologize, but he is tied up in court today and could not call in. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you about, or let's talk about a horror story that actually Andy has discussed several times. And again, just things that could so easily be avoided if everybody's being diligent, paying attention. But there was obviously you had a young couple looking to buy a house and working with a real estate agent. Told the agent exactly or pretty much what they were looking for in the house they were hoping to buy. But one of the major and main requirements that this particular buyer had is they wanted to make sure that the house they bought had a very large backyard because they had plans to put a pool in the backyard. They very much wanted to entertain or enjoyed entertaining, having company over a lot. So having a pool in the backyard would be a very good setting and good place to have a party. They found the house. They liked it. They fell in love with it, had a very large backyard as they requested. And then not long after closing, they moved into the house. And then they contacted their pool guy to come out and have the pool put in the yard. Well, one of the things that will happen, apparently, when you decide to put a pool in the yard, you're going to have a survey. And they surveyed the backyard to find that the city's sewer main ran right through their backyard underground. So you had an easement or a sewer main running through, and there's no way any pool's going in that backyard. Well, now these buyers are very upset. They're very distraught. I mean, the reason they bought the house was to be able to put a pool in their backyard, and now they're learning they cannot do that. Unfortunately for the real estate agent, these particular buyers, because they had given specific instructions on what they wanted in this house, felt the real estate agent did not fulfill his or her obligations to make sure that this house would provide that. They sued, and now, this is still sort of ongoing, so we don't know exactly where it's going to go. But the point is this. This is something, again, that could be so easily avoided. And quite frankly, I ask buyers that I'm working with before we ever close on a house, because you do have a 10-day due diligence period, or at least the way the contract's drafted here in the Midlands. Buyers have 10 business days to have surveys. Home inspectors would like to have the property surveyed. The first question I typically get is, well, do I have to? Is it required? Well, usually not. And then they don't want to spend the money, $300-$400, whatever it would cost, and obviously that's going to vary depending on a lot of circumstances. But they choose not to have the survey. They want to save it for other reasons. And see, this survey would have uncovered that issue before they ever bought the house, and then they could have made sure they bought the right one. So the problem the agent had is they never even suggested to these buyers that you may want to look at having a survey if you're thinking about putting a pool in your backyard. So big problems. What a hard to find. I mean, just imagine buying the house, spending the money that you typically spend when you're buying a house, and then it cannot provide what the one thing you were hoping it was going to provide. It's a large disappointment. You hate that, but those kind of things happen. And that's another reason why here, again, with the Palmetto Success Team, we try to work to make sure that all your bases are covered, and that's why we work as a team. Again, between Ashley Jeffcoat, she does such a great job showing the house, helping buyers find exactly what they want. And then with Stacy and I both, we do a lot of the background work, making sure that all the bases are covered, inspections are performed. And by the way, when these inspections are performed, we will be present for that inspection. We're going to be there. And that has seemed to sort of gone away a lot from what it used to be in the past anyway. Typically, if there was an inspection done, the agent would be there. Now you're starting to see rarely are agents present during these inspections, and it's really important to be there. Again, the way I see it, you've hired me and you've hired our team to represent your interest, and anything that is found as a result of these inspections is going to have a bearing on your transaction. It's a large investment. You're paying us to do that, or we get paid to do that. Now, usually our commission is paid out of the sales transaction from the seller. But still, you're buying that house, buyer, so you've got a large part of this. So we owe you certain obligations and responsibilities, and we want to make sure they're all provided. Again, we want to give out the phone number again. Love to hear from you if you have any questions. The phone number here in studio is 799-TALK or 799-8255. Love to answer any of your questions if you have any, or just a comment. Be more than happy to do that. Now, some other things I would like to just suggest, because, again, when we're working with buyers, and I think this is so important, first of all, I understand, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, the eagerness or the excitement, if you will, to just get out there and start looking at houses. And we like to do that, especially Ashley. She loves, again, to go out showing you the houses. Again, she gets as big a kick out of it, or probably more so than the buyer will, just looking at these houses. But we would like to have you come into the office, a very professional environment, and let's sit down and talk about and put a plan of action together. That's the only way you're going to actually realize success in your real estate transaction. Success just does not happen. You have to plan for it, and there are things that you have to do. I've been doing this a long time. And I just know you just don't jump in the car and go out and start looking at houses. So a few things we like to do. If you come into the office, we sit down. First of all, we explain exactly what we do and how we do it that's going to protect you. And then I've actually come up with what I call a buyer profile sheet. And this is something that really helps, especially you as the buyer, but also me helping you find the house you're looking for. Because typically you ask a buyer, what are you looking for? A very typical description might be, well, I got to have at least 3 bedrooms, at least 2 baths, 2.5 baths might be nice. Over in the Irmo St. Andrews area, between $140,000 and $150,000, a garage would be nice. Well, you know what? That might sound like a pretty good description, but I'm going to tell you, if I go to the multiple listing service or the MLS and key in that description, I will likely get several hundred houses pop up. That's not going to work. So what we want to do is help you figure out exactly what you want. So in this profile sheet, and this is something, again, the buyer and I will sit down and work through together. But, I need to know not only the things we just talked about, but what specific rooms do you want in the house, for example? Some people still like the formal living rooms, formal dining rooms. But more and more people nowadays are saying, I think that's a wasted space. We don't want that. We'd rather have something else in its place. So those are the kind of things I want. And then I want to get really deep and to make sure we can really target exactly what you're looking for. Because in each room of the house, then I want to know what you want in each room. And I'll just throw out one example because we're getting ready to go to our last break. But say, for example, in the owner's suite or the master bedroom, some people call it, I've got a list of things here that you can pick and choose from. And I'll just go through this just for the master bedroom. Would you like a balcony or a deck off the master? Do you want bay ceilings? Would you like box ceilings or cathedral ceilings? Would you like a fireplace, French doors? Would you like a garden tub, double vanity? Do you want high ceilings? Do you want his and her closets? Do you want a separate shower? Do you want a sitting room? How about a skylight? A lot of things we talk about, but we got to go ahead and get this last break out of the way. Thank you so much for listening. You're listening to Success in Real Estate on The Point.
Here's Frankie Griffin with your weekly featured property on Success in Real Estate.
All right, good morning again. Welcome back to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin, and now it is time for our featured property of the week. And maybe this would appeal to those that are thinking about building a house on Lake Murray. I actually have an absolutely gorgeous lot, and I mean it is gorgeous. It is almost 1 full acre, or very close to an acre. It is on Lake Murray. In fact, it's got 154 feet of water frontage. It's on big water. The lot is in Prosperity or Newberry County or that side of the lake. But it is just such a beautiful lot. It is partially cleared already, so if, just about ready. All you got to do is come in here and start building that house. But also already in place is a very nice floating dock, and there's also a 6,000-pound boat lift already in place. It's already there. All we need now is your house. All you got to do is build it, excuse me, to your standard or what you would like. They've also have a lake-drawn pump for irrigation. So if you want to irrigate your lawn and make it look very nice year-round, you can do that because you're certainly going to have plenty of water. Again, 154 feet of frontage, and all of this for $198,000 is the current list price. And we would love to show you that or take you out to look at it if that's something you would like. Again, Ashley Jeffcoat, one of our team members, she does such an incredible job anyway, going around looking at properties and working with buyers. And you know what? I've found that buyers prefer going out with Ashley, probably more so than myself, and I don't understand that. It is true. She's a little more attractive than I am, but she does such a great job, and I'm just picking on her right now, but she is. She's a very sweet person. You will have actually have fun while you're out there looking for your next property. But I got to tell you, this is just an incredible deal. It's a beautiful lot. 2 very nice homes on each side of this lot already. So it is gorgeous. It's a perfect opportunity for somebody if that's something you'd be interested in. And if you would like or be interested in having your home or your property featured on the Success in Real Estate show, we would love to help you with that. Just give me a call, or better yet, you can shoot me an email. That's usually the best way to get in touch with me. But my email address is just Frankie, Frankie, Frankie at frankiegriffin.com. I do reply to emails quite often. Or throughout the day. But I'll go ahead and give you my cell phone if you have something to write with. My cell phone is 803-315-7303. Again, 315-7303, and I would love to sit down and talk with you. I can come see you, or love for you to come by my office, show you around, give you a little tour, talk about what we do, what we don't do, all of those things. But I'd also encourage you to go to a couple places to find out a little more about us, what we have to offer. I do have a website with an awful lot of information on it, and my website is just www.frankiegriffin.com. frankiegriffin.com. A lot of information on there. If you're thinking about buying a house or selling a house, check them out. One of the things that I do like to encourage people to go on my website and check out are all my partners, my real estate partners, vendors, if you will, service providers. They all do such an awesome job, and obviously they would not be on this list if they weren't there. But maybe you're not even thinking about selling your house, but maybe you just want some work. Maybe your heating and air unit is failing, or you need to have it inspected or checked out, or your duct work, or whatever. You'll find Carolina Conditions, for example, is right there. Tim Mosley, they do such a great job. All my partners, my real estate partners, just awesome. Again, there's a link there on our website. You can click on it and find pretty much anybody you want. There, our home inspectors there. Of course, Erica West, our mortgage consultants there. David DeBose, our home inspectors there. Bobby Bain with Bain Termite and Pest Control. You name it. I think you'll find a very reputable service provider will be listed there to help you with pretty much anything you want. But then the other site that I would ask you to visit is our Facebook page. It's just called the Palmetto Success Team. It's our Facebook page. We actually have properties that we have listed and trying to sell. They are on that Facebook page. We do have pictures of our team, so you can see who you're getting ready to deal with, or at least what we look like. And I just think you'll find there's a lot of information on there. In fact, one of the things I actually posted just this morning on our Facebook page was the top 10 ways or top 10 things that you can do for your property, especially if you're thinking about selling it. But again, you don't even have to be selling to try to increase the value of your home. And we've got an article there that lists the top 10 things or 10 ways to increase the value of your home. And I'll go ahead and give you number one right now. I'll just go ahead and tell you what it is, but that's all I'm going to tell you. You have to go on there. But it's always the kitchen. And I could assure you, I would be willing to bet you anybody out there would probably already know that. But you just cannot go wrong updating kitchens, because that's usually the first place buyers, especially the female buyers, they're going to make a beeline straight to the kitchen to see what it looks like and how much room they got, how much counter space, how much cabinets, all this stuff. That's always critical. You cannot go wrong making sure your kitchen is updated and looking good. A lot of things there. On our Facebook page, I think will help you. So just check it out. Again, it's just under Palmetto Success Team. And if I would, in the little bit of time we got left, I want to give a tip to anybody looking at selling their house, since we've been talking about buyers all day. If you're selling your house, you've got to understand where are buyers looking. They're all online. Excuse me. They're all online. I'll get it out in a minute. We're good. They're looking online, and what are they going to be looking for? Pictures. You've got to have professional-looking photos. I'm telling you right now, these pictures that agents are taking right now, they do not look good. They don't make your house look good. You've got to have it professionally done, and that's a service we provide at the Palmetto Success Team. But anyway, our time is up. We've got to go. I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Please make it a safe one. We'll be back next Friday morning with David DeBose, our home inspector, to talk about how all this stuff works. Thank you for listening to Success in Real Estate. I'm Frankie Griffin on The Point.